Hello and greetings. I'm Diana Wyan, the Artistic Director at Temple Israel of Hollywood, and it is with great joy that I welcome you to today's TIOH Arts and Culture at Home event featuring jazz pianist Guy Mintus. So this ongoing series of online performances and conversations evolved out of our core belief that culture is illuminated, shared, and advanced through the arts, and our deep desire to continue gathering during this pandemic. Before I introduce Guy, I would like to take this moment to acknowledge and recognize that our temple, Temple Israel of Hollywood, is situated on the traditional and unceded lands of the Chumash, Tongva, and Kizh peoples, who have stewarded this land throughout the generations and continue to do so. Now, it is with great joy that I welcome today's artist streaming live from his home in Israel, Guy Mintus. He is a pianist, composer, vocalist, and educator who is equally at home, whether he's sharing the stage with jazz legends, composing for classical orchestras, collaborating with masters of traditional music, working with kids, or guesting as a soloist with a ska punk band. He's phenomenal. And today he's going to be performing for you. He's going to be doing 2 original compositions and then staying true to his adventurous jazz spirit, also creating in the moment and sharing some improvisations, including one that he'll pick out of a hat and is requested by one of you. Thank you to everyone who shared your questions and your musical requests with us when you registered for this event. Now, for example, if you joined us a little early, you were listening to the Guy Mintus Trio's version of Let's Call the Whole Thing Off from their most recent album, A Gershwin Playground. So thank you, Dan Crotty, for that request. All right, now let's kick this off with some music. Please join me in welcoming Guy as he performs for us an original composition named Dalb. He let me know just before this began that he believes he came up with the word Dalb, and for him, it means that it's when you're on a path and you're not sure where you're going, but you have a very strong impulse about where you're headed. And so you keep continuing forward. And now,
Amen.
Guy Mintus. So great to have you here.
Thank you so much, Diana. Wow. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I'm so happy to be here. Good evening, everyone who's watching at home. Let this journey begin. Here's Dalb.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your time and your music with us.
Oh my gosh, thank you for doing such a beautiful job connecting us and bringing us together over music and joy. And it's a privilege to be here, really.
It's my pleasure. And our community, well, they're huge fans of the arts. And so it's nice to get to finally introduce them to you. And when I was looking over the questions that our community was sharing in advance of this, I actually noticed a theme I found particularly appropriate, given that our audience is pretty intergenerational. And we're actually hopefully we're being joined by students right now because it's noon here. So everybody's on lunch break. I hope you're enjoying your lunch and some jazz music. And so we got some questions that focused on the teen years. So I want to ask you, a two-parter. Lindsay Cavett is wondering, did you ever want to quit piano in your teen years? And
Absolutely.
Lisa, what did you say?
Absolutely.
That was quick. And Lisa Weinstock wants to know, how many hours a day did you practice in high school?
Yeah, so for me, music started in a very organic way. I would say it came totally from me, and my parents never directed me or anything. So when I started studying, it wasn't even on a piano; it was on a little keyboard we had, and I didn't play classical music like most kids that start studying do. I would play anything from Beatles, a little bit of Gershwin, a little bit of Fiddler on the Roof, or a little bit of Israeli pop songs, and like that. And then when I was 13, all I wanted to play was rock. And, in rock music, as everybody knows, there is, of course, some piano, but there is much more guitar. And I was like, really, I started studying guitar as well. And it was close to, luckily, my teacher back then didn't really fight with it. It was okay, let's play some rock on the keyboard, play some guitar. And that way I stuck with the piano. And when I was 14, I discovered jazz, and I fell in love with jazz and with the ability to improvise. And that really changed my life and took me on a whole nother course that later led to studying classical music, and also of Europe, classical music of different traditions from around the world, Middle East in particular. And then, everything kind of took place. But there was a point where I thought maybe not piano, maybe guitar. Like, we'd sit by the fire with friends. You bring your guitar, you don't bring your piano. So yeah, I wanted to be cool.
That's fantastic, because I think that really points out that you followed your own curiosity, and that took you to some very unexpected places. It's really great.
Yeah, and when that passion really hit, that's when I started practicing a lot in my teens. To answer the second question, I was really spending hours, sometimes 5 or 6 a day, practicing on my own, then playing with friends. I mean, my entire day was revolved around music, really. When you're passionate about something, when it's love, there's no limit, so you just go.
Definitely. I think that's a perfect segue. You have another original composition for us?
Absolutely. So the next one is a composition called Our Journey Together, and I wrote it in the summer of 2014. I was studying in New York at the time at Manhattan School of Music, but I came back for the summer to Israel, as in every summer, to see family. And in 2014, as many of you may remember, it was Tzuk Eitan. There was a war going on, and really a terrible situation, between in that region, and it was very, very saddening to see. And for me, the only way to deal with it was through writing this melody. It was almost like a therapeutic act for me, and a personal prayer for a better situation. Later on, it led, life is can happen that way, and it led to this piece becoming a short film that included over 100 kids around Israel from Jewish, Muslim, and Christian backgrounds. And they were all part of a little journey that myself and a director, filmmaker from Prague came to Israel, and we went through this together. We traveled with my keyboard, and that whole journey became like a short film with the song as its soundtrack. So you're most welcome to watch it later. It's called Can You Tell the Difference? It has portraits of more than 100 kids. And there are animations of the drawing, and like it became a whole thing. But tonight you're gonna hear the soundtrack of that. So this is Our Journey Together. Hope you enjoy. לשלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So you share that coming from a mixed heritage of Iraqi, Moroccan, and Polish Jews, your music is a meeting point between different rivers of inspiration flowing freely into each other. That's me quoting you. And I really appreciate this idea of meeting and convergence leading to creation. Can you share a bit more about how it happens and how the inspiration flows through your music?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm indeed from a very mixed heritage, grew up with different, cultures, different kind of cultures and around me. Also growing up in a country that is very mixed culturally speaking. And adding to that, I'm just naturally very curious person, curious guy. I like to explore things. If it's in music, if it's in food, is in travels and adventures. I like to experience things and to people. And at some point, I realized that like we don't always have to choose our identity, like choose this box for our identity of that other box, and just be us and embrace all that it means, that it's okay to be also this and also that, and that in one phrase I can go from from the makam to the blues and back, and like weave these things together, and these expressions are are at the end who we are. So it's not even so much about the what, it's more about like why we do it, and how that makes it personal. And realizing that was really liberating for me, and that's where things really started to click and merge.
Wonderful. So I think you wanted to share with us an improvisation, yes?
Yeah. There is a film that came out this year. It's a documentary about Fiddler on the Roof, and somehow I was lucky to have a chance to write and record some original music for that film. And obviously by doing that, I got so much closer to the music of Fiddler,
Right.
which I love and know since childhood. And I thought it would be fun to try and improvise for you all on a few themes out of Fiddler on the Roof. So let's go.
fantastic. Bravo. The teenager in me, to keep the teenage theme going, was thrilled by that because I actually played Hodl in high school.
Really?
like
Oh my
many like
God.
many others. So I appreciated that, and I'm sure lots of folks at home that one totally
Oh,
resonated.
I love
So
it.
we have enough time for one more quick question, and we'll close out with one more song from you.
All
Uh,
right.
and this question comes from one of our young congregants. And after all of those songs that you just played for us, I think it's a perfect question. Olivia Prince wants to know, what is the difference between jazz piano and other types of piano?
Well, it's a great question. Um, in a way, I'm still trying to answer it myself until this day because what is jazz and what are the borders really between music is kind of an endless question, and there aren't really borders. But just to maybe generalize a bit, just to give an idea, the piano originated, of course, in Europe, and used to be played maybe like this. And what happened when Scott Joplin came into the scene, he would take these similar melodies, similar harmonies, but add some syncopation to it. And then later on, the stride pianist that came would add, some blues to it and some other elements and like kind of elevate it. And then, the bebop ones came. So each one that came added his own different twist. So in a way, the difference between jazz piano to other types of piano is that it's freedom piano. It's like self-expression piano. And all types of piano are really that. But in jazz, it's almost like brought to the forefront and valued. So like you see all these different innovations and ideas that came to just build up on each other. You can come and get inspired by this endless well, but very importantly, add your own to it. Mm-hmm. And that's maybe the shortest answer I can give. But it's a great topic. I would love to talk about it more in another opportunity sometime. Yeah. Because it's a great question indeed.
I love that it centers on you bringing your uniqueness, that every person can bring themselves to this.
Yeah, and everyone has a place in it, and that's so beautiful. Like, it's just mind-blowing.
So let's end this program with one more great jazz improvisation from Guy. But before we do, I just want to mention that the recording of today's concert and our other past online arts events are available at arts.tioh.org. So please feel free to watch, rewatch, and share them with friends and family. And to hear about future programs, you can also visit our website and sign up for emails, or follow Temple Israel of Hollywood on Instagram. And speaking of, please mark your calendars for Sunday, March 21st, when poet and Kohenet Rachel Kahn will be joining us from her home to perform several of her poems. Details on that will go live very soon. Okay, so I hope you'll join us for that. But now, before I go, Guy, I have to say thank you again so much for being here with us.
Thank you. Really, really thank you. And to all the team, working to make this event so professional, so, flowing so well and so soulful too. I mean, Definitely. What else can you ask for?
Huge shout out to Nima and James, our tech team. And a big shout out to all of you out there who are tuning in. We know you're with us right now. And thank you so much for being here. And sharing your time with us. On behalf of TIOH Arts and Culture and Temple Israel of Hollywood, I want to offer you and yours warm wishes of care and comfort at this time. And now, I believe, Guy, you're going to pick the inspiration for the next one out of that hat.
Absolutely. Yeah, so playing songs by request, playing songs for people that they really wanted to hear and mean something for them is something that's really important to me. I feel like I get to do a mitzvah like that, and And I did a lot of it in April, in the beginning of the pandemic, on my online shows. I would get requests from people from, from Indonesia even to Peru, like really incredible thing. So I always like to do it. And when we were thinking about the show, it was the idea came up, and we decided to go for it because it's something I care about, and I got such lovely requests from you all. I decided not to just take one note of the hat, but take three and mumble jumble them and see what happens with that. Because I want, as many as I can to, to give you this gift. So, number one. Victor Laszlo requested Rhapsody in Blue. Whew. Well, that's a 15 minutes piece, so I won't play all of it, but a little part of it is going to be thrown in. So wait for that. Number two. Robin Mencken, Jazz Chopin. All right, Chopin. We're going to jazz up a little bit of Chopin in there, mixed with Rhapsody in Blue. Let's see what else is going to come up. And Evelyn Ma asked for Dean Martin's That's Amore. Whew. That song I don't really know. I didn't really know before today, so I listened to it a little bit. I even scribbled a little bit of the melody here, just in case it comes up. So all these three songs, let's see what happens. It's all gonna be your creation just as much as it is mine. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. See you in the next time, hopefully in person. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Ciao, ciao. Good evening. Good afternoon for you. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich and your mom is good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings you're gonna rise up singing, and you'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning there ain't nothing can harm you, 'cause daddy and mommy stay